mistake. It made a local leader look weak, and it made it look as if there would almost certainly be a far-right ministers in the central government. And this for a country that does still have within its living memory the Francisco Franco right-wing dictatorship. It was a real surprise night, another comeback for Pedro Sanchez. He's a man who seems to have 9 lives, and every time the analysts write him off, he seems to find a way to potentially save himself again. Basically, I think the polls underestimated the performance of the socialists, and the socialists only gained 2 seats, but they were seen as losing a few seats. And basically, the polls had seen that there could be an absolute majority. So the Conservative People's Party won last night. It won 136 seats, but it was a pretty Pyrrhic victory because with those 33 seats of the far-right party Vox, it is still short of an absolute majority. And that means that Pedro Sanchez can try to do another coalition act as he's done. He can stay in power potentially with his current allies, which is a left-wing or far-left coalition called Suma. But he will also have to turn to a collection of small parties, including the Catalan separatists. And he'll actually need some kind of deal, the abstention, not voting against him in Parliament to become Prime Minister, from the Catalan separatist party Junts. Now, you'll remember Carles Puigdemont from back in 2017. He was the man who declared independence and then fled to Belgium. And he's been there hopping around other European countries since. He may potentially be extradited back to Spain to face justice because a European court has actually lifted his immunity. He became a European parliamentary MP to have immunity, to not have to come back and face the justice of the Spanish courts. So you can imagine what some of the conservative newspapers are saying today. Basically, it is deadlock, or Carles Puigdemont calling the shots in Spain.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? In fact, later on the show, we're going to be talking about when Rishi Sunak should call an election, the pros and cons of doing it. I mean, clearly this was a snap election called because the ruling Socialist Party had done badly at local elections in the spring. There was then a bit of a gamble for Sanchez. And it wasn't without controversy holding elections in the middle of a Spanish summer.
No, it was very controversial.
This is the sound... So I don't need to tell you. This is the sound of a man turning up at a polling station wearing a snorkel and flippers. Now, does it fit? Does it seem as if this gamble might have paid off? That actually, far from opening the door to the far right in Spain, that actually Pedro Sanchez, to much everyone's irritation, holding an election in the Spanish summer, this might pay off. He might remain as Prime Minister.
He's got the best chance probably between him and the Conservative leader Alberto Núñez Feijóo. The gamble was that coming out of those May local elections, the Socialists lost key seats all across key regions that they were running, local councils across the country. And the gamble of Sanchez was, why don't I let the electorate see a little bit about how the Conservatives will make pacts with the far right, but let's do it quickly and let them see the sort of deals that will have to be struck at a central government level. And it seems to have paid off. We saw, for instance, in Extremadura, one of the local Conservative leaders there said she did not want any Vox ministers in her government. She said this was a party that dehumanized immigrants, that thought that women being killed by their husbands, those specialist courts that are run in Spain, that should be scrapped. And she said she didn't like the symbols that they had. Yeah. They had a poster of putting all sorts of symbols into the rubbish bin. But she was forced to back down by the Conservative leader. And many analysts are saying this morning, surely that was a mistake. It made a local leader look weak, and it made it look as if there would almost certainly be a far-right ministers in the central government. And this for a country that does still have within its living memory the Francisco Franco right-wing dictatorship.